So I now have to figure out what to do. I'm still attached to this jerk lawyer. I cannot get rid of him. He cannot, apparently, he cannot sell this estate, but I didn't trust him. I didn't trust him. I don't know that he's not just telling me that. So I try to start looking up the things by myself again. And then I say, I'll ask my local representative. I'll call Tony Cabral's office and maybe he can help because sometimes they help you with problems. I knew I couldn't ask another lawyer without firing him. I still don't have money to get a lawyer of my own or go to someone else. That program I was trying to do, that's long gone. It's in the past already because I let that drop because of the pandemic. And, I still would have had to fire him in order to get another lawyer, and I was scared off of that by people who I spoke to at the time, because I'm like, this guy's a control freak. If I go to somebody who's telling what he'll do, he still knows all the rules and all the tricks and all the stuff. So I had just, that's why I was waiting him out, because I feel like he had all the cards, and I'm not a stupid person. I'm an intelligent person, but the lack of being able to find out your own information because it's legal advice without going to a second lawyer, I've never felt so trapped in my life. And the worst part is I became more trapped because this tolling of statute of limitations that allows people more time to sue you. That's why you can't close the estate. That allows people more time to come with a claim. Under normal things, it would be a year. Because of the pandemic, because they told the statute of limitations, the 3 months or whatever gets tacked on. So now the date is somewhere in December. But besides that, if we go into lockdown again, if the quarantines happen again, they can start tolling it again. And then that day may be pushed even further into the future. But now, all my credit cards that I needed to pay, that I've had no money to pay, they're beyond the time where they come to sue you, right? They could sue me any moment. And I don't have any money still. I was hoping to death that I could figure it out before those days would come. My only other answer was to go back in time, back to December, and see if I could have sold the house back then when there was enough money in the state to maybe do something with my mother's own bills. But this guy kept that information from me at the time, so there was, maybe I had a window last December 2019, but I didn't know about the window, because things were happening behind my back. This man was not informing me. So I regret that I didn't do something in the beginning, but I thought that I couldn't. I didn't know what was going on. This man was not informing me of things. So I was trying to figure things out when the pandemic happened, and the pandemic put the brakes on everything. And then my thing that I just needed to survive the pandemic became the number one focus. I needed to try to not get sick again. And, because we had to stay in, and it was impossible, it seemed, to get another lawyer without causing the ire of this psycho, I decided to try to wait him out, thinking that September was my end date, and then come to find out it's not. And whatever I was thinking I might be able to squeeze by, with whatever money was left in the estate, I could use that to figure out where I was going in the future, or, if I called the Yucky Houses people, it's still out of my hands. Now it's really out of my hands, because what happens now is, and why I'm panicking now, is because I have gotten a letter from one of the credit cards. Sent it to a collection agency. I don't know if it's lawyer people. They make it look like lawyer people. It could be a collection agency. It could be lawyers. If the credit card people now sue me, just for the records, let's say my mom's credit card decided to sue, and then my own credit card people sue me. I have two, which were much more than hers. You add up all that money, that's probably more money than I would get if I sold the house. So now, where I could have, in the beginning, if I had been able to sell the house, I would have sold it, paid off her bills entirely, and had enough money to start over somewhere else. Now, it seems to me that even if I was to get sued by everybody, that the value I would get, what I would get paid for the house won't even cover that. And it's all because of a combination of this probate law that I had no idea about. I doubt if my mother knew about it. Plus this lawyer playing games with my life, gambling with my life when I thought he was telling me to do what had to be done. I didn't know he was playing games. I didn't know he was gambling with my life. I can't believe that happened to me. I can't believe at my darkest hour the universe or God or whatever put me into the hands of a viper like that. I'm not a criminal. This isn't a lawyer. You hear jokes about lawyers, but you think there's a law, there's a system. Well, apparently they can do whatever they want to anybody. They'll take advantage of anybody, and they'll ruin you just so they can make a couple $1,000s. That apparently is what just happened to me. So, as far as I could tell, my life was ruined anyway, but I was just hoping somehow that because of the situation, because of the pandemic, because these that I would have some kind of time before the credit card people decided. So they must have cast it off, like they say, or cash it off, whatever that term is. And then they've given it now to a collection agency, the one of them. The other one does too, And now I'm panicked because whatever I thought I could do to sell the house, if that was what I had to do, it's not going to make a difference anymore, because now the house it might have no value for me, and the only thing for me to do is to try to live in it. Like I said, it's falling apart. I don't have the money to live in it. Because I have to now stay here for the next couple months, bills are still going to have to be paid, and whatever is in that kitty there, the estate that's been paid, that's going to go down and down and down and down, and at some point, I don't even know now, because if we did not go into lockdown again, if they did not toll us again, and there's not going to be any money left for me to use to be able to figure out what I can do going forward. I still have no idea how to make money on my own. I'm in the worst situation in my life, and now they might sue me, which emotionally I can't handle this. I've been through so much. I am not the kind of person who would have ever done this. Like I said, I thought if anything happened to my mom, it would be the worst thing in my life, because I lost my mom. We were together every day, just me and her. I don't have any friends. I don't have anybody else. I've had to start talking to relatives that I hadn't spoke to in a long time, but we're not close. They're people, they're relatives, and one of them has helped me a little bit, but I've already asked too much of her, and the other one is in a different state, and I talk to her on the phone sometimes and everything, but I am completely ruined financially. I have no idea what will happen to me. And I didn't do anything wrong except for not being able to find a job all these years, getting sick, not having any help, not knowing all the rules, not even going to a lawyer, just kind of being suckered into being with a lawyer who's a total jerk, a total narcissist, control freak, and was in it for himself. And I told him over and over, and he wasn't listening to me. He was just telling me what to do, like he was my father or something. And these people have ruined my life. And if I lived in a different state, this wouldn't have happened. The situation isn't the same. You don't have to wait a year in other states. You don't have to. They didn't toll the statute of limitations in other states. I had to be in Massachusetts. I had to fall into the hands of this guy for everything to go as wrong as it is. I don't deserve it. And I am an emotional mess now. And I don't know how to move forward.